An extract from Just a Boy from Bristol, a memoir by Michael John Kelly. When the sirens sounded at 6:22 p.m. on Sunday, November the 24th, it was the 338th alert of the war. Most of them had been false alarms, so we'd grown complacent. Mr. Lloyd blew his whistle and we all straggled slowly out of the house and into the garden. We came somewhat reluctantly and complainingly, but without fear. It had been a typical lazy November Sunday. There had been bread and jam for tea, with real butter instead of margarine. That was our Sunday treat. We approached the shelter in a calm and orderly manner. Mr. Lloyd rubbed his hands in anticipation as he started his usual speech. There is the one sacred, unbreakable rule. His voice tailed away. Suddenly the air was heavy with the drone of German bombers. The searchlights frantically scanned the skies. The anti-aircraft guns cheer-clattered into action. I stood fascinated and fearless, because I knew exactly what to expect. I knew what was coming. Mr. Lloyd had told us so many times and explained it all very clearly at the breakfast table. Jerry won't come over by here. We're bristling with bloody barrage balloons and bloody guns. Jerry knows we'll just shoot them out of the sky. Within moments everything had changed. 1 minute there was complete darkness. The next, the city was illuminated by the falling parachute flares. I stood there, holding Mum's hand and waiting for Jerry to come falling out of the sky. Instead, the first high-explosive bomb fell. It was close, and Mr. Lloyd's confidence disappeared in a flash. "Fuck me," he said. He stood motionless, seemingly transfixed to the spot. 2 more bombs fell in quick succession. "Don't just stand there, get in the bloody shelter." Mrs. Lloyd took control. I don't know what happened to the one sacred, unbreakable rule. The women and children first. But the next thing I saw was Mr. Lloyd disappearing into the shelter. He was quickly followed by Mr. Williams and Mr. Edwards. The 3 wives then dived in. Mrs. Lloyd was last. She only just fitted through the narrow opening. She left me with a mental image of skirts, petticoats, stockings, suspenders, knickers and cellulite. The door snapped shut. Another bomb fell and Mum gave a little scream and jumped like a startled rabbit. "Get in the bloody house under the bloody stairs," Mr. Lloyd's muffled voice shouted. He was back in charge. I wish my vocabulary was quite enough to adequately describe the terror of that night as we sat in total darkness and the Germans rained bombs on Bristol. My sister slept, and my mother drew her knees up to her chest, covered her ears with her hands, and rocked slowly backwards and forwards. She sang for 6 hours. "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine."